"Good morning, Don Juan," I said. "Am I glad to see you?" For 3 months, I had actually looked forward to going back to the field. It was as if a time bomb set within myself had exploded, and suddenly I remembered something transcendental to me. I had remembered that once in my life I had been very patient and very efficient. Before Don Juan could say anything, I asked him the question that had been pressing hard on my mind. For 3 months I had been obsessed with the memory of the albino falcon. How did he know about it when I myself had forgotten? He laughed and said it was nothing, with his usual conviction. "Anyone could tell that you're strange. You're just numb, that's all." "Is it possible to see our death?" I asked, trying to remain within topic. "Sure," he said, laughing. "It is here with us." "How do you know that?" "I'm an old man, and with age one learns all sorts of things." "I know lots of old people, but they have never learned this. How come you did?" "Well, let's say I know all sorts of things because I don't have a personal history, and because I don't feel more important than anything else, and because my death is sitting with me right here." He extended his arm and moved his fingers as if he was actually petting something. I laughed. The old devil was going to clobber me again, probably with my self-importance. But I didn't mind this time. The memory that once I had had a superb patience had filled me with a strange, quiet euphoria that dispelled most of my feelings of nervousness and intolerance towards Don Juan. What I felt instead was a sensation of wonder about his acts. "Who are you really?" I asked. "For you, I'm Don Juan Matos, and I'm at your service," he said with exaggerated politeness. I reviewed for him the series of unusual events that had taken place since I had met him. "Why are you doing all this to me?" I asked. "You asked me to tell you about plants," he said. "But what you've told me so far has nothing whatsoever to do with plants," I protested. His reply was that it took time to learn about them. "Think of your death now," Don Juan said suddenly. "It is at arm's length. It may tap you at any moment, so you have no time for crappy thoughts and moods. What was wrong with you when I first saw you, and what is wrong with you now, is that you do not take responsibility for what you do. When a man decides to do something, he must go all the way, but he must take responsibility for what he does. No matter what he does, he must know first why he is doing it, and then he must proceed with his actions without having doubts or remorse about them." "That's an impossibility," I said. "Look at me," he said. "I have no doubts or remorse. Everything I do is my decision and my responsibility. The simplest thing I do, take you for a walk in the desert, for example, may very well mean my death. Death is stalking me, therefore I have no time for doubts or remorse. If I have to die as a result of taking you for a walk, then I must die. You, on the other hand, feel you're immortal, and the decisions of an immortal man can be cancelled or regretted or doubted. In a world where death is the hunter, there is no time for regrets or doubts. There is only time for decisions." I argued in sincerity that this was an unreal world. I told him the story of my father. When I was 8, he was only 27. He used to give me endless lectures about the wonders of a healthy mind in a healthy body. During the summertime, he would come from the city, where he taught school, to spend at least a month at my grandparents' farm where I lived. It was a hellish month for me. Almost immediately on arriving, he would insist on taking a long walk so that we could talk things over. And while we were talking, he would make plans for us to go swimming every day at 6 a.m. At night, he would set the alarm for 5:30 to have plenty of time because at 6 sharp we had to be in the water. When the alarm went off, he would jump out of bed, put on his glasses, go to the window and look out. Bit cloudy today. Listen, I'm going to lie down again for just 5 minutes. Okay, no more than 5. I'm just going to stretch my muscles and wake up. He would invariably fall asleep again until 10, sometimes until noon. I told Don Juan that what annoyed me was his refusal to give up his phony resolutions. He would repeat this ritual every morning until I would finally hurt his feelings by refusing to set the alarm clock. They were not phony resolutions, Don Juan said, obviously taking sides with my father. He just didn't know how to get out of bed. At any rate, I said, I'm always leery of phony resolutions. What would be a resolution that is real? Don Juan asked with a coy smile. If my father had said to himself that he could not go swimming at 6 in the morning, but perhaps at 3 in the afternoon. Your resolutions injure the spirit, Don Juan said with an air of great seriousness. I thought I detected a note of sadness in his voice. He didn't want to swim at 3 in the afternoon, don't you see, Don Juan said. His words made me jump. I told him my father was weak, and so was his world of ideal acts that he never performed. I was almost shouting. Don Juan didn't say a word. He shook his head slowly in a rhythmical way. You think you were stronger, don't you? He asked in a casual tone. I said I did, and began to tell him all the emotional turmoil my father had put me through, but he interrupted me. Was he mean to you? He asked. No. Was he petty with you? No. Did he do all he could for you? Yes. Then what was the matter with him?